Hi, this is Josh Becerra from Augurian. I'm here with Mark Coronna. Thanks for having us here at your beautiful home on Lake Pepin down in Stockholm, Wisconsin.
Yeah, beautiful tourist Mecca of Stockholm.
Yeah.
Population 66.
There you go. Well, it's wonderful. Luckily we have a beautiful day out here. So I've been talking with Mark about the evolving role of marketing leaders, and he's got a great perspective because he's with a firm called Chief Outsiders, and that's a group of 70 very high-level CMOs that are now going in, being strategic, getting hands-on with companies and helping them out. You also previously were at US Bank, Deluxe, in a CIO role, CMO at Wolter Kluwer Financial Services, and also the managing director in Europe. So really excited to talk to you today. There's this evolving role of marketing leaders. You've talked about the CGO versus the CMO, the Chief Growth Officer versus the Chief Marketing Officer. So talk about like a CMO moving into this like growth champion role and what kinds of value or stages of value there might be in that.
Yeah, well, it's not, everyone's view of marketing is not the same, right? Yeah. I mean, everyone's view of any executive role is not the same. And I think about 2004, there was a Booz Allen study that actually characterized 6 different stages of marketing value. And it started on the very lowest end as marketing as a service provider, right? Yep. So I've actually gone into situations where somebody would say, "Oh, marketing, you make brochures, right?" Right. It's kind of like, okay.
It's about print collateral and mailings.
Yeah. And maybe you run the website, and maybe you run the trade shows too. But that's really a service provider organization at the very lowest level of value. Yeah. And then as you move up the hierarchy of value, you become much more strategic, much more proactive. To the highest level, the 6th stage is marketing as the growth champion. Yeah. Where marketing really has the responsibility for setting the growth agenda for the business. And that would be both organic through programs like Horizon Growth, or it would be growth through acquisition, right? So marketing could also lead some of the M&A, the targeting, the due diligence exercises, the integration exercises, and that's the most robust view of marketing. And as a professional marketing person, you sort of want to be in the role where you can deliver the most value, right?
And I think you also want to be the one who's kind of shaping and controlling the narrative. So that's another thing that we've talked a little bit about and you've shared with me, is how marketers really have to get out ahead of the rest of the organization and lead when it comes to KPIs and determining what we should be measuring. So you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Well, I think a lot of executive teams, they'll say, well, I don't know what, I mean, we'll spend, $300,000 on trade shows, but I'm not sure what value we're getting, right? Yep. And it's like, well, why do you keep doing that if you're not sure what the value is or the results? So I think the best situation a marketing executive can develop for him or herself is one where they become very proactive in setting the metrics, doing the self-evaluation, assuming the accountabilities. You can do that by developing a balanced scorecard of key metrics. Yep. Maybe 8 or 10 or 12 metrics that the executive team would relate to. Some of them would be, clearly website performance. Sure. But even there's a huge difference between, monitoring new visitors monthly and looking at your conversion rate and seeing how many you're actually converting into an actionable
But I think
prospect.
Like the key piece there is that you're getting executive leadership buy-in. Like they need to believe these are the metrics so that they don't show up at your office with like, well, what about this over here? And marketers can say, well, no, we agreed that these are the 5 metrics and this is why, right?
Right. Well, I think and as a marketing executive, you would have your own set of metrics that go much deeper. I believe everything is measurable, but not all metrics are created equal. You need to find the ones that are that are really relevant to the strategy that you're trying to drive to.
This last question, I think what's really interesting, you talked about like these stages and moving from where you're reporting on really basic marketing, kind of almost as a service to the organization, where they're just buying hours of marketing from you, to being this growth champion. So if somebody finds themselves like kind of stuck in a B2B situation where the leadership really still views them as this like cost center, like doesn't attribute a ton of value to it, like what are some of the first things that you think a marketer who finds themselves in that position needs to really start doing or addressing, either with the executive team, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, well, this whole concept of marketing as a growth champion, Josh, there is a model, and actually what I've done with clients that are interested in getting more value out of their marketing team and their marketing programming, we'll go around the executive team with a structured interview, and we'll say, well, so we'll ask a series of questions that will establish where are we relative to those 6 stages. Okay. And then we'll go back and we'll say, no, where do you think marketing needs to be, right? So we have a baseline, and then we'll set sort of a target. Yeah. Well, obviously, you're going to have to do things differently if you're going to move up that scale and create more value. So,
and I assume you can't just like jump from stage 1 to stage 6. You probably like people are comfortable going to stage 3 maybe, and you use that as a milestone, and then you try to shape their thinking once you're there to move to stage 6 or something.
If you can move up a couple stages each year, you're doing pretty well. Yeah. Right. But that means looking at your programming, the technology you use for your marketing organization, the people, the processes, really taking accountability for the marketing performance, and looking at it as an investment, right? Not as a pure cost, but marketing is an investment in growth. It's an investment in driving new revenue streams or diversification. Yep. Whatever you're tying your marketing strategies to in terms of your business strategies, you have to kind of align it there. Yeah. And draw and make those dots like really line up, so everyone can understand that this program drives this strategy, your marketing strategy, which supports this business strategy. There you go. Direct path is the best place you can be to kind of make those performance improvements over time.
Well, that's great advice. Thank you very much for today. I really appreciate you opening your beautiful home to us, patio, and that'll do it for this edition of Augurs on the Town / on the road.
On the road, yeah. Cheers, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome.